Okay, thank you very much for your time here. I would like to extend the Pecha Kucha idea of, well, thank you. Yeah. I'd like to extend the Pecha Kucha presentation by actually having our actors that are on screen here to jump off the page and come up on stage. So I've got some students here from Kings and from the Nagle College to do a demonstration, but stay there, don't jump up just yet. I've got some notes. Hopefully I can get through the Pecha Kucha in time with my demonstration of my workshops that have been running here. Just as a note, the slides that you will be seeing slowly turning over here are actually from QUT students. About 4 years ago, we did a Commedia project, so you'll see shots from that production. I'd like to start by saying that there is a misconception that Commedia is a masked improvised theatre, and it's dated back to the 16th century. Well, it is dated back to the 16th century, that's for sure, but I think that the improvised theatre is mistaken. It is highly rehearsed, well practiced, sort of scenarios and comic routines that have been tried and true. And then, only then, once these skits and scenarios are being played, do the actors improvise like handling a heckler. So I'd like to, sort of make that as a presentation here, because I think that we've been teaching it wrong, especially with sort of, assessment tasks of saying, okay, quick, here, pull a scenario out of a hat and go and improvise it. I would find my actors that have been working on it for years a very difficult task to pull off. So what I'd like to do is talk about how you can build a structure and then improvise from it. And today, you've been witnessing the performances of the Punchinella by three. So we just made them three Zannis performing wandering Lazzis. So what we did was we built a movement palette, which we rehearsed, and I'd like to take you very quickly through, because of the time limit of the Pecha Kucha, through the class that I went with our students here last Sunday at the college here. So what I'd like to do is invite them up on stage now. Please come on up, and we can maybe move the chairs. Yeah, did you like that performance, by the way, at lunchtime? Yes, another round of applause. You guys can push the chairs back a little bit and give yourself some more space on stage. John put them out there very nice, but we've just moved them all. Okay. So the first thing is that Commedia is very light, balanced, and in control. And this is what I was trying to have this idea across to my students here by teaching them some of the movement strategies that we had planned for the improvisation. I'm just losing my place here. So we used an exercise called schooling to create an ensemble, even of only 3 members, an ensemble of 3. So if you guys just want to drop the masks on the chairs there, and can you get into your groups of 3 that you're so familiar with now? Yes, they're finding their spots. Now you might be familiar with this activity in drama class, schooling. So they're going to find their way around the room using a schooling movement technique. Can you demonstrate that, please, for everybody? So what they're doing here is that they're copying whoever's in front. So the improviser can go anywhere. So if they turn around, it's not the one person leading. It's actually, they're just following whoever happens to be in front. This allows the students to be able to go with whatever is happening or in front of their eyes at the time. Okay, thank you. I think that they got that. Can you demonstrate swarming? Now, swarming is a little bit different. It undoes the rigid idea of having a triangle all the time. So, swarming around the space. You'll see that they're actually using some of the techniques of the Commedia traditional moves, which is the Zanni walk, the Zanni creeping, maybe even running. Okay, and then the next step we did, we added the traditional movements. Yes, we also did auto contact. So I was looking for cues from your wandering audience to actually say, well, they need to have things to feed off when they're improvising in front of a crowd, like wandering here at the lunchtime. So can we have Isaac? Can you, everyone follow Isaac, please? We call this is just mimicking one person, so that they're looking for idiosyncrasies that the person who's being chosen at the moment, they're just copying. Aswita? Aswita? Remember, try and get rid of them.
Why are you following me?
Why are you following me?
Go away!
Go away!
Okay, thank you. That's a good demonstration. And now we added the traditional moves so that they were grounded in the Commedia. So can you just line up maybe 2 lines across the stage here and show them some of the starts? So remember, 70% of the weight on one leg, 30% on the other leg. That's it. Then jump from one leg to the other. Now introduce some hand gestures, because the Italians, they talk with their hands, and so that's where we get the gestural theatre that comes from Commedia. Okay, right turn. So this is all very stylized, very cartoon. Commedia is like large cartoons. Can you face the front again and do left turn? And now Commedia, let's do the run, the slow run. I'm going to work hard, going to make a delivery. Okay, stop. Don't want to wear them out. And now walking backwards as Zanni. Don't forget to clock the audience. Clocking the audience is very important with mask work. Well, actually, with any kind of clowning, it acknowledges you're bringing the audience into what your character might be thinking and doing. Okay, don't walk off the edge of the stage. Thank you. Very good. Now we're going to put all this together, because I'm running out of time. We did use a few little tricks, which I might be able to do, and they get on their masks, please. Now, because we didn't have dressing rooms, mirrors and stuff to get ready, we used a little trick in that they were to use each other as a reflection of themselves. So they would start by getting into a bunch, facing inwards. They would find the spirit of the mask. I did this last weekend, where we took them through, I guess, an extensive process of finding the spirit of the mask, finding a voice, and looking in the eyes of the mask as though they're not you anymore. Okay, they're not doing triangles, they're doing the large group. Now, good, they're finding their voice and they're using each other as mirrors. Now you can turn around and take your journey as the threes, if you can find your partners again. That's it. If they got stuck by engaging in someone with conversation, which sometimes happens when someone starts talking to a wandering character performing, then I said to them, well, don't take responsibility of having to talk back to them. You're Zannis. So, for example, I might say, hi, how are you? Hi, how you doing? That's good. You guys are great. Hi. Yeah, so they're using a technique called pass the buck. No, hey, excuse me. Where are you from? Have you got a phone number? You've got an agent?
Agent.
You see, I don't get any sense out of them. And that's what we want. We want the audience to say, you guys are crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So you see how that technique works. Never take responsibility to make sense. That's the point here. Okay, we also went through finding the game. Like the handshaking game is always a fun one. So everyone can demonstrate the handshaking game quickly. It's like these characters don't know the ways of our world, and anything you do or offer as an audience member, they take as exploring it as though they don't know what it means. This makes it very good clowning and very good fun. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Zannis! You can turn around and take off your masks. So you can see that it is improvised, but it's layered on a structure. Once the students know what their structure is, they have a common language, which then they can build on and improvise from. I think that this makes good Commedia. Now, these have just started. I believe that if they went off and did performances at different gigs, they would build a rapport of activities that the three of them will become a very healthy ensemble. Okay, thank you very much. Guys, can you take the seat again back in the audience? 30 seconds. Oh no. Maybe I just quickly, I won't get them up to demonstrate. El Doctore was the other character that we spoke on, and that I trained them, took them through. It was a little game I found to find the nonsensical talk that the doctor is famous for, or spirililoquy is what the doctor does. And so how do you teach that? How can you teach someone to talk nonsense and be good at it? Unless you're Robin Williams, of course, then, it comes naturally. So I found this little trick, and I found it whilst driving in the car once. My kids were playing this game with me when they were younger. They were playing the but why game. Now, have you ever had that happen to you? But why, Dad? But why? And you keep on explaining and over-explaining. This is what the doctor does. So, if you try this exercise with when you're teaching Commedia, is get the students to first work in pairs and say, one of them says, but why, to everything that the others answers, and then elaborate on it. So, yeah, but why? And I often find that the last word in the sentence, like, the world is round, and then the kid says, but why? Well, round is sort of like the sun and the ball and the moon. But why? Well, the moon is sort of like so you jump from one idea using just the last word that you said in your sentence. This finds this illogical progression through talking to the audience. And this is where you find the nonsense of the jargon-talking professor called El Doctore. I hope that's a little insight into teaching the doctor. Thank you.
And thank you to the wonderful students for coming along this afternoon. And to all of our presenters, I have a little gift and I'll give it to you after. It's been a lot to take in 90 minutes, but I think we've seen snapshots of fantastic practice and research across New South Wales. And now it is time for afternoon tea. Enjoy.